If I believe there's a reason for this pain I'm going through, if I believe that leaving me was all that you could do, if I believe that I can feel you by my side, I'll make it through the night. If I believe that time will teach me how to find my way, if I believe that broken hearts grow stronger every day, if I believe that now you're dancing across the sky, I just might get by. You help me through somehow, get me through somehow. If I believe that in my dreams I'll always feel your touch, if I believe that memories won't always hurt this much, if I believe that I will see your face again, I can wait till then. Yeah. If I believe I'll hold you in my arms again, I can wait. I know.
Hello, Somerville. We have two special guests tonight. We have Samuel Arroyo-Breeden, and of course Shannon White. We've known her
Shannon
before.
Lundeen.
That's right. It's been a long time since you've done
Some people aren't used to the name change yet, and I'm not either.
Really?
No. In due time.
I'm so happy to have you here.
Thank you.
It's been a long time, and we're in a new location. We're not in the big studio anymore.
Yeah.
Too much manpower is needed there.
Oh, I see.
So the reason why I asked you to come in the first place was, first of all, to talk about New England recovery, as well as what's going on with the Charlestown Coalition these days, and how we're going to be co-sponsoring an event next Monday night. So there won't be a show next week because I'll be in Charlestown.
Yay.
Nice.
Okay, and it would be a great opportunity.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that we have lots of people that come, and that's why we're going to have the show tonight. So that it'll be on YouTube as well as somervillemedia.org, and also tonight, if whoever's watching.
Nice.
Yeah. So, yeah, peace. So. First of all, I have never met you before, and I know you've been sending me different things to put on the page, and I've just recently started to put them on, so you can keep sending them.
All right, awesome.
I'll do my best. Yeah, because I used to have a co-host, and she used to do a lot of the page, and now I've taken it over.
Okay.
So
it's a lot of work.
She's a busy, popular lady. She got a lot going on.
I see that.
Guess who I'm going to meet tomorrow?
Who?
Vice President Pence.
Nice.
Well, we'll see.
Yeah.
He's going to be
Form
at a
your own opinion.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
I do.
Yep.
I'm not, you know, I listen to other people, but then as I meet people, you know how you can always get
Right.
an impression from others,
Right.
and it's like, you know, I always judge myself.
Yep. Me too.
And the thing is that it's not really judging,
Right.
you know what I mean? Because I'm not very judgmental.
You form your
about it.
own opinion because you're not a follower.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I'm a leader,
You're a leader.
like you.
Yeah.
It's a pretty
And
interesting
you.
opportunity either way, yeah.
Yeah. So why don't you tell us a little about yourself?
Well, thank you for inviting me on the show. That was really awesome. I appreciate that. My name's Samuel Arroyo-Breeden. 6 years I've been in recovery now. I'm pretty excited about that.
Woohoo! We are too.
I tried everything. You know, it's a common story where you go through over and over and over again and try to tell people you've changed and then go through the cycle again. And nothing worked until I got to the point of just absolute despair where I didn't even want to look at myself in the mirror, you know, when I was brushing my teeth. And I find that really speaks to people when I meet clients and stuff. They're like, oh, wow, you do get it. Yeah. You know, that's not an uncommon thing to despise yourself to that degree. So I cried out, I prayed, I said, God, if you can do something in my life, do it. Because I'm done. I'm resigning. I said, I have a daughter, so I'm not going to take my life. But I'm done. So if it's really true that you can change my life, do it. And here I am today. You know, Jesus really made the difference in my life. So I feel like I have to give back. I want to reach out to the people that are out there. I know that feeling of desperation and being alone and just chasing something you're never going to get. And I want people to know that they matter, that they have a purpose. And
That's good.
that's why I do what I do. That's why I'm doing it.
That's what I always say.
Yeah,
Everybody matters and mattered.
they really do.
We're all equal.
Yeah.
It's true.
So New England Outreach, we started it about a year ago. It was September last year. The intention is to have faith-based recovery homes in 2020. But we're looking beyond that to just networking anywhere and everywhere we can in New England with any other coalition, any other program, anybody that wants to work together selflessly, because it's not about being a big dog. And I actually made the organization because I was trying to work with other organizations, and sometimes there's a little bit of a big boy on the block situation, and it's like, what's going on here? We're supposed to be trying to help people. So I formed this organization and just started networking with everybody I could, and it's working really well, actually. So it's exciting. The more humble people, people with a heart to actually help others, you know, and not seeking personal gain, are the people that I end up connecting with. So it's really strong. It's cool.
It's hard, though. I mean, because you don't know who is there to make money or
Yeah.
who's there to actually help people,
Yeah.
you know, and sometimes it gets in the way. They start out trying to help people, and then afterwards, money is an issue.
Yeah.
You know, I feel that
seen
the
that.
more you give, the more you get, so you don't have to be selfish and want
Yeah.
to be rich,
Right.
whatever it may be that you're looking for.
Yeah.
So that's a good thing, though. So you have a 12-step program?
We do. We do Celebrate Recovery. It was on Monday nights, but we're moving it. And we're actually reformatting the whole thing. We're considering continuing with Celebrate Recovery, but what we really want to do is every Sunday night we'll be meeting and doing basically the sort of group therapy sessions that you would have in a rehab facility, where you're going over like self-forgiveness, coping skills, how to deal with shame, all these sorts of things, like a group. And then every fourth Sunday, we're going to actually do outreach, whether that be to go to the streets, whether it be to go to recovery homes, anywhere that will have us, so that we can actually go out and speak. So it'll be building people up during those other 3 weeks, and on the fourth week, we all go out to reach out to the people that are in need.
You sound like an ideal candidate for this program that I've been wanting to do in Somerville. It's actually a meeting, but the meeting is called Mercy Street, and it's held, I spoke to you about that before, It's a pastor and a counselor, and they work with the people, and the people that come to the meeting are of all parents, siblings, people in recovery, parents that have lost their children.
Yeah, that's
we're all
exactly
in the
what
same
I'm
circle,
visualizing. Yeah.
and we're all talking about our issues and bringing in
Right.
guests and to talk about it and talking about codependency. And that seems to be similar to what you want to do.
Celebrate
Exactly.
that Celebrate Recovery is a little different because it's off of like a 12-step model. It's actually the 12 steps are actually biblical. Like AA was founded on Christian principles, and the first group in AA was the Oxford group, which was a Christian group. So I know for myself, I wanted to get to the root of all that, right? And so Celebrate Recovery doesn't focus on the substance, like the alcohol or the drug. It focuses on hurts, habits, and hang-ups, which we all have.
Right.
So it addresses all those things that you just mentioned, like you have in your group and the group that Sam's doing at First Church.
The Mercy Street is really, that sounds exactly like the direction that we're visualizing going forward. If we continue with Celebrate Recovery, because it's really helpful for a lot of people, then that will be another aspect of what we do. But the main component is going to be this other approach. And that's really to speak to the heart of the matter, because anybody in recovery will tell you that that addiction happened because of what else was going on. There's almost a 1-to-1 ratio of trauma to addiction, that sort of thing. There's all of this hurt and ache and feelings of worthlessness and abandonment. All of that stuff is what needs to be dealt with. And if it's not, you can abstain for a year or two inside the walls of a program, but when you go back outside and you still have that same pain, you're going to go right back.
Resurfaces.
Yeah, it resurfaces and needs to be worked through, in order to be healthy. So like, that's a more holistic approach, to the whole person. Let's get at the heart of the matter.
And I think there needs to be more of that,
Absolutely.
right? Like, I mean, like you always hear about different pathways to recovery, and certain other pathways are talked about a lot more than the holistic approach. And I think that is really the missing piece in all of this.
I think that everybody that's actually working and networking for recovery are trying to find all different ways and different approaches to make it work.
Right.
Some of them are now putting in gyms. Some of them are doing a meditation, yoga, whatever it takes for you to stay sober is the way.
Yeah.
And you have to talk about it.
Yeah.
And if you do want to go at some time, I could take you up there.
Absolutely.
But it's in New Hampshire.
That's okay.
It's actually, I think
New
it's
England
still
outreach.
in Plastow, New Hampshire.
New England's a big area, so
Right.
New England outreach, we want to do our best to help as many people as we can. We start here, obviously.
I don't know if you know Denise Sullivan. Do you know Denise Sullivan? Well, she was actually from New England Outreach up in, New England Recovery up in New Hampshire. And she introduced me to that program, Mercy Street. And I really did enjoy it. And I wanted to bring it down here because we have so many different groups. Learn to Cope is wonderful, but and there is Learn to Cope, there's GRASP, but they're all separate entities. And the thing is, it's great to have everybody in the same room to feel,
right.
We've listened to people.
Unity.
Yeah, because it's all of us that are suffering.
Yeah.
We're all, it's a family addiction.
It certainly is.
A disease, not just the person in the situation.
I always consider that when I think about helping anybody in recovery, multiplying it. My daughter was baptized last week. Very cool. She's 9 years old. And for a long time, she was not really into church. She didn't like churches where it seemed like a show or like entertainment, even for the kids. Like, she was like, yeah, this is cool, but what's the point? But she's seen my life change. And when she gave her testimony, it was really cool because they just asked her to say a few words. And this is what she said. She says, my dad used to drink a lot, and it wasn't cool. And then he went to Teen Challenge, and he started talking about the Bible, and he started talking about Jesus, and he really changed. And Then she started talking about some things that changed in her life, how she used to be sad at night, and she would cry at night, and now she prays, and now she has hope, and all this. I'm like, oh my God. My niece is on a missions trip now, another person that was affected by my change. And again, it affects everyone, my parents, like your partner, and then everybody in your family. I have so many siblings, My siblings wanted to purchase a coffin at one point, and they said to me and my brother, we're buying a coffin, we're not kidding, we're really doing it. We're just not sure which one of you it's for first, but we're doing it. So we really do have to look at that. Like, it's not just the one person. When you see somebody hurting, that's 10, 20 people hurting,
Absolutely.
And that's 10, 20 people that can be helped, reconciled, given hope.
It's a wonderful thing.
Yeah,
And
for
I always
sure.
say that as a team, we all, everyone together accomplishes much.
Yeah.
So
Takes
it's
a village.
right. It takes a village, absolutely, because it was really hard for me. Because you said your brother. Is your
Yeah.
brother in recovery now?
He is, yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah, we both went into, it's funny because we both went into Teen Challenge, but he went into one in New Jersey, and I went in Brockton, within a month of each other, but we didn't know.
Wow.
It wasn't coordinated, not by us anyway. But yeah, right, exactly.
I always go to the Teen Challenge banquet.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're awesome.
Yep.
Terrific
I've
organization.
been to quite a few myself. Yeah.
The place, the work they've done has really had an incredible impact on my life and a lot of people I love. Yeah.
And they're self-supporting.
Yeah.
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 That's when I said to you, did you see anybody in
Yeah.
the intro?
I saw my main man, Sean Merrill, up there.
Oh, I love Sean.
Oh, he's so great.
Yeah.
He's a good dude.
Yep.
Oh, I love
He
Cheryl.
was my roommate.
I love
at
his
one
wife.
point.
I love his mother too.
Yeah.
His mother Cheryl is doing an awful lot too.
Yeah.
We actually went down to Washington about, was it April 4th. We went down there with Ryan Hampton and the Opiate Spoon.
Oh, yeah.
That's such a great project.
We went down there and we went on a Thursday. We spent the night. The next morning, well, we went to dinner. The next morning we went down to the FDA and we had a rally for an hour. And it was a lot of us mothers with pictures of our children. Dominic brought the spoon and just dropped it out in front of the building. It was raining and pouring. It was very, very successful. We did what we did accomplish what we set out to do, and we actually were home by Friday night. So this is what we do. We go to different places. We've been to Washington, D.C. and walked to the White House, and we actually went out in front of the Sackler Art Museum, and we're out there in front of the museum with the pictures of our children as people walk by to let them know that they're responsible for a lot of this. And as we were talking about earlier, August 2nd is the next round 2 of Maura Healey's case, well, the Commonwealth of Massachusetts against the Sacklers and Purdue Pharmaceutical. So hopefully we'll be
Some big
successful with
changes will
that.
be coming.
And it's amazing. So what's going on with the Charlestown Coalition?
Okay, what's not going on with the Charlestown Coalition? So Sam asked about getting a Narcan training for the folks at New England Outreach. So we were happy to, he's running the show. We were happy to partner with him on that. I also have a strong faith. We share the same God. And for me, I believe that I've been delivered and set free from my addiction. I just celebrated 15 years. Sometimes I can't believe that. And my daughter's going to be 20 tomorrow, and I just feel
Oh my
that's like
goodness
That's awesome.
gracious.
how would that happen? You know what I mean? Like she was 4 going on 5 when I first got sober, and I remember somebody said to me, you always hear people say, you can't do it for your kids, you can't do it for anybody else, blah, blah, blah. And I get that, like the drugs or the addiction is more powerful than the love of your children, and I totally understand that because there was times that I went through that. But I remember someone said to me when I was in treatment, Shannon, would you die for your daughter? And I'm like, of course I would, because, you know, like, I'm a tough townie girl, right? So, like, and then they said, well, why don't you live for her?
Wow.
And, like, that hit me so hard. And, like, I didn't care about myself enough at the time. My love for her is really what motivated me. And then I've always been God conscious. I just didn't know him as well as I know him now. Like I said about, like, the 12 steps. You know, I go to 12-step meetings, and, you know, when people go around the room and say, hi, I'm so-and-so, I'm an alcoholic and an addict, I don't say that. And I think people might get the wrong idea. I say I'm Shannon, I'm a grateful person in recovery. And the reason for me is I get that people say, I'm so-and-so, I'm an alcoholic and an addict, because they don't want to forget. And I say, I'm a grateful person in recovery because that for me, like, there's a scripture in the Bible that says life and death are in the power of the tongue. And what you speak, you give life to. So I choose to say I'm a grateful person in recovery because I want to remind myself of what God did for me. That doesn't mean that, you know, I'm done learning or that it's not a possibility that I can go back out there just like the next person. I'm reminded of that on a daily basis. But I say I'm a grateful person in recovery because I want to keep up front that God's the one that did this for me. I didn't do this for myself, you know. And Charlestown Coalition, there's so much going on. We got so much good stuff going on. Our Turn It Around group, which is our youth group. So we have a very diverse group of about 40 kids, ages 14 to 19. They all have summer jobs. We have 8 that graduated high school. And we have about 10, I think, that just got their permits, and a few of them just got their licenses.
Oh my goodness, roll off the streets of
Yeah,
Charlestown.
get off the streets. and, you know, there's so much going on, you know, where, you know, I'm still working with people, helping them get to the appropriate level of care, walking families through the Section 35 process, doing a grief group. We help and partner with other organizations to do as many Narcan trainings in the community as possible. There's the drug court. We have a trauma response team where if there's ever any traumatic events in the community, there's a group of us that meet monthly, and we have a clinician that we consult with. So it's like natural leaders in the community and other providers in the community that kind of come together and respond should any traumatic events happen. A few weeks ago, we had a loss. The Charlestown Recovery House experienced a loss in the house. So if we can, we'll go in there and do a group. If the guys aren't receptive to it right away, and most of the times they're not, we'll bring coffee and donuts, and we make our own grief and trauma cards. And we'll put the picture of the person that was lost on the card so that they can, you know, kind of keep it and look for tools and tips on how to deal with their own personal trauma and grief. What else do we have going on? We're partnering with Big Brother, where we're looking for townie mentors, so people that live or work in the Charlestown community that we want to match up with a kid from the community that could benefit from a big brother, big sister type of relationship. So we have that coming up soon. I'll post about that because I think it's July 16th we're meeting. We're having everybody meet at Anna's Cafe around 7:30 to 9 in the morning just to kind of sign up, and then Big Brother, Big Sister will do the screening process and then match them with whatever.
They do so much for Charlestown. It's awesome.
We
I
love
cannot
Charlestown.
believe this. I'm listening and saying, my God, if all our communities could be like Charlestown, that would
You
be
know what? It
wonderful.
takes a lot of people that are just willing to put what they can, you know. And just let me shout out to First Church in Charlestown
Yeah.
while we're at it, because
Definitely.
they allow us to use their facility. We're using their facility for the training. I know Turn It
They
Around
allow us
meets
to
there
use
every
our
week.
Turn It Around group. And First Church was awesome when, you know, because the Looney Noonie in Charlestown, the noontime
Right.
meeting has been around for like over 40 years. And for the past few years, they were scrambling around for space because it used to be at St. Catherine's, and that property was sold. And then we were down Rutherford Ave for a period of time, but we knew it was only temporary.
Right.
And First Church were the first to step up and open their doors 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, for the noontime meeting. And then they let us do our Turn It Around group there on Thursday night. So they've been,
That and New England Outreach.
yeah.
So
that's
yeah,
wonderful.
they're doing all they can as well. So it's great to just network with all these different organizations that are willing to put themselves out there.
Absolutely wonderful. See, now, I just became Somerville Lions president.
Wow.
Oh, cool.
And
Congratulations.
when we go, thank you. So when I look at internationally, if you look into their page, they talk about blindness and they talk about, you know, helping diabetes, but in there is also about substance abuse. So I do every time that I'm at a meeting discuss substance abuse. So hopefully we can do more of that, and I can share that in the community.
Yeah.
You know, I was at, not too long ago, I was invited to the Rotary Club, and I talked to them about addiction. So hopefully, you know, Somerville is not doing as, I mean, they're doing an awful lot, they really are. You know, they started the core program, they have access to recovery. Do you know that, was it Cambridge Needle Exchange is they're now on the road? And they're helping people. So, I mean, these are all things that we really don't know in Somerville because we're not advertising it. You know, we do have 311, we do have the police department, but I just,
is
there's got to
that?
be something more to our letting people know what's available in the city to them. So
It's
maybe
almost
a
like you have to
brochure
push
or
for it.
maybe,
Like sometimes it seems to be hidden away, or people are attempting to, not saying anybody in particular, but sometimes systematically it's like not addressed so that a certain place could look better. Like we look great, come to this or that town, you know, and you don't automatically associate it with addiction or alcoholism or anything like that. But it might be going on. I mean, it's actually going on everywhere.
Everywhere.
So we might as well just be open about it and like, hey, let's get to
and
work on this.
the UN just discussed it. Addiction is a world problem. It's not just in the United States, although we do have a huge population that are having issues with addiction. But then we do have a huge population that is also in recovery. So it's possible.
Yep. And now we're starting to see meth trend big time.
Yeah, that's.
And that's my fear. That's a fear that that's going to turn into something that we aren't going to know what to do with. But then again, we're pretty resilient people, so when we have to figure it out, we do.
Well, we're doing the best that we can.
So much work to be done, but
So
we
much
got to
work to
keep
be done.
working.
Still.
We got to keep going. You know.
That's right. I mean, we chip away a little at a time.
Do you know
But
the
in
story
meantime,
of the
we're still
starfish?
losing a lot of
Yes, I
people.
love the starfish story.
Starfish story is what I always think of.
Okay.
For anybody that doesn't know, the starfish story goes like this. There's a little girl walking down the beach, thousands of starfish washed up on the shore that are going to die if they're not in the water. So she's walking down the beach and picking them up and throwing them in one by one into the water. And an old man walks up and he says, "Look at all these starfish. You're not going to make a difference. It doesn't matter." And the little girl says, "It matters to this one,"
Yep.
and throws it back in.
It's true. Yep.
That is such a great analogy. Like, there's these numbers that are astronomical, and they're frightening, they're intimidating, and then we think about like, hey, what's the next thing coming down the pike that's going to be a problem? We just have to realize it's one individual, you know, that we're going to sit down with, that we're going to meet, and if we can save that one person's life, you saved someone's life.
That's right. We always say just one.
Yeah.
If we can save 2, 3, 4, 5, we'd love that.
Yeah, bonus. But yeah, each one, you know, it matters to this one.
Yeah, and that's what I say. I said that, you know what, you don't know how good you feel to be able to save a life.
Yeah.
And that's why I say, please come to the Narcan training at the First Church at, was it 10 Green Street?
Yeah.
10 Green
10
Street.
Green Street in Charlestown. It's right across from the Boys and Girls Club.
Right. And it starts at,
You've been there before.
Yes, I have. yeah,
A lot of people have been there.
We
yeah.
do we do every year when we kick off Recovery Month, we
Yeah.
do a Turn It Around barbecue.
Okay.
So September's Recovery Month. Last year, so we usually do it down the football fields, and we were supposed to have this big rainstorm coming in. So we panicked and moved it into the church. The rain,
do you see what I'm saying
the
about
storm
First
never
Church?
came. Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
it's wonderful that you're able to to get
Yeah.
someone to help you just that quickly.
So yeah, it's 6:30. There's a lot of interest already. I'm seeing a lot of responses to the invites, so that's really cool.
Because a lot of people want to be prepared. They want to save a loved one. They want to save a friend. And like I said, even if if you had it in your bag, or in your car, and someone, all of a sudden you come across someone that's overdosing.
You want to hear the most interesting silver lining story about Narcan in a car? Somebody broke into my car about 10 days ago, ransacked it and took everything. There wasn't much in there. There was like a Bluetooth adapter worth like $17 and some change, and they took that, and my gym bag. And they took Narcan. And when I realized the Narcan was gone, it just changed my perspective completely, like that day. Because it was like, it felt, you felt somebody had intruded in your life. It's a little weird. Somebody was
Violated,
in my car.
Yeah, a lot of people feel that too.
When I realized the Narcan wasn't there, I was like, oh, wow. Imagine if that saves a life.
Yep.
So
It was all worth it.
yeah. Because, I mean, what was it? It was a couple bucks.
It's true.
They really, $20 worth of stuff gone, that's it. And the Narcan. So, like, cool. I got a Narcan to somebody that could use it.
That's great.
Yeah.
So
it's good to have
who is
around.
actually doing the Narcan training?
A-Hope is going to come in, Boston Public Health Commission. It's going to be our friend Amy. I'm sure you know Amy, right?
Yeah, Monk?
Yeah, Amy Monks, Amy Bonnet, whatever you want to call her.
I love Amy.
I do too. She's unbelievable, and she's full of, knowledge and information when it comes to this type of stuff. So she'll be there tomorrow, and she'll have kits for everybody that participates.
Very good.
It'll be good.
It would be nice to see an old friend.
Yeah.
Yeah, we went to actually recovery coach classes together.
Yep.
Oh, cool.
Recovery
Yeah.
Coach Academy. Yep.
I haven't finished all my classes because I work during the day, and that
I
becomes
feel
such
ya.
a big problem. But I will eventually.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
I'm going to retire in February.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
You sure?
it'll be my second retirement. Yeah.
Well, it sounds
That's
like
why
you're
it's
still
not
going to be
sure.
busy.
No, I need to make room for other people.
Yeah.
They say, you leave, someone else takes over your position. That's just supposed to be, revolving. It's a revolving door for me, my second retirement. But I know I won't just do anything, you know what I mean? I still have to be active.
Yeah. That's
So.
who you are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it sounds like you already have plans to be active. You said you were going
I
to be
do.
starting back to the
I do.
Recovery
I have
Academy
plans.
right away.
Well, yeah, I had plans the last time I retired too. No, I didn't want to work 50 hours a week. I mean, 50 weeks out of a year. I wanted to work less. So then that's why I went to the schools, because I'm off during the summer.
Nice.
But I started off part-time and went full-time, then became a manager, then became the union president. So it's like it's time. I've ran my course. Yeah, so.
I don't know if I believe you.
Well, I'm also a grandmother,
Oh, yeah.
so I could always help, like, bring my granddaughter to school
That's true.
and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I never had a daughter, so you have 4.
Oh my God, I have my kids every 10 years. Because my oldest is going to be 20. I just turned 20 when I had her. Then I had my second daughter at like 28, 29, and then I had twins at 39. So I don't have to have another one when I'm 50 because I had 2 for 1.
Wow.
My husband prayed for twins. I'm dead serious. He prayed for twin boys.
And you got
But
twin
God has
daughters.
a sense of humor. Because he knew I was only going to do it once. So he prayed for twins, and
That's hilarious.
he said to the ultrasound tech, I prayed to Jesus for this. But we didn't know it was girls yet when they said it was 2. So, but that's
And how are they doing?
oh, they're so good.
Oh, I see
all
the
of-
pictures.
All of them are so good. I love having girls. I mean, gender disappointment's a real thing because I was upset at first. My husband didn't care, like, right after. But I love, like, having girls. Like, I'm so close with them all.
I
good mom.
couldn't be happier. My daughter and me
Yeah.
are like this.
Right.
We do everything together, kayaking together, we go play basketball, go to Red Sox games, whatever.
And my
Comes with me.
my second daughter, Olivia, so Lainey and Olivia's dad died of an overdose, along with his brother and sister.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So their Nana lost all 3 of her kids.
Oh, that's horrible.
And I'm so close with her,
I I've met her.
Yeah, you have met her. She's been at the vigil and she's been around, but more recently she's just been really starting to open up about, I mean, she's always been open about how they died, but, you know, she'll post on Facebook, this is my son Matthew on his 30th birthday, he died of a heroin overdose, you know, and I don't think anything worse can happen to somebody than to lose a child, you know. But so, you know, my second daughter, when I was celebrating one of my anniversaries at a meeting, she was there and she heard all the details. Now, she's never seen me drunk or high. My oldest was 4, like I said, when I got sober. And I said to my daughter, no, she heard everything. So I said to my daughter, and she was, 8 at the time? I said, do you have any questions that you want to ask me about what you heard? Here, I think she's going to ask me, why did you stick a needle in your arm? Why did you steal? Why did you get arrested? Why did you have to pee in a cup? And the only thing she asked me is, why when you were little did you have to see your dad hit your mom? She was more concerned about, like, my trauma and pain as, like, a little girl, that she couldn't see past that. She couldn't see, like, the awful things I did in active addiction, you know? So it just goes to show, like, and she's at the Turn It Around groups that we do a lot. So she takes a lot of, like, the information and the things that we teach them about, you know, prescription drug misuse and abuse and, you know, marijuana. And if some of them come in, you know, smelling like marijuana, it happens sometimes because they're teens, we don't push them away. We pull them in more, you know. My oldest daughter was part of Turn It Around since it started, and then she just finished it up last year. But, yeah, so I like to think that, you know, they've learned from my mistakes, but I know that they're going to test the waters at the same time, you know. So.
Absolutely.
Yep.
They're kids, that's what they do. Hopefully. I mean, now it's just so dangerous. You know, I mean, with all the different drugs that are being mixed with these things.
'Cause you never know what you're going to get.
Weed, no.
Yeah.
No, I mean, you know, between fentanyl and carfentanil, look at all these busts and huge amounts
Yeah,
being brought in. And
it's
you say, how
bizarre,
much more?
the amounts.
You know, and that's the reason why you do is because you don't want to see anybody else die.
Right.
And that Narcan doesn't always work.
Sometimes they need more than one.
You do.
Yeah.
So what kind of Narcan will she have? Will she have
has
the
newer
one
ones.
dose?
Yep. The 4 milligram doses. There
Oh,
comes
that's
2 in a
good.
package. Yep.
That's great.
Yep.
Because I have the old
have the
ones
older
that
one?
you have to.
Oh, no, you got to get some of these ones.
Oh,
You have to put it together. I know. This one's looks more like a nasal spray.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's great because it's automatic.
Yeah.
Yep.
And,
You know,
and
you
once you use it, it's gone. Like you know how the other one you could do half and half up each nostrils? These ones, you just do one up one nostril and the whole thing's.
But then at least it's a double dose so that if there is fentanyl.
But there's a lot of other things that she'll talk about that have been going on, you know, because there's a lot of things changing because there's no heroin out there, because it's fentanyl, and because
Yeah.
the recipes keep changing.
Excuse me.
She talks about, like, wooden chest syndrome. So some people, they will shrivel up and they can't breathe or, like, can't move. So you have to give them Narcan instantly. Some people have to, with other cases you do rescue breathing and then the Narcan. You know, there's all these different scenarios and situations that you might come upon that, you know, there's different things that you have to do.
And what if I can get her on the show?
Of course you can.
I'll just have to ask.
She's on
next week.
vacation right now, but ask her when you see her on the 8th.
I will.
I think that's her first day back. Yeah.
That'd be great.
She just did.
I know she's not a shy person.
No, she's not. She just did a Narcan training for me up at the coalition with the crossing guards, like the school crossing guards in the town. So they reached out to me because they've been seeing so much on the streets, and they want to make sure that, I mean, it's summertime now, but either way, they still have Narcan in their possession. So they want to make sure they're prepared in case they come upon a situation that they need to respond to.
Wow.
Well, we do have a good program here in Somerville called Somerville Cares About Prevention. And we have Matt Mitchell. And what he's been doing is he's been going to small businesses and training people how to use Narcan now. And actually on, I think the 13th of July, we do have a studio of Vox Pop, which is down in Assembly Row.
Wow.
So they're going to be doing Narcan training there twice. And they just did a documentary that's going to be airing. It's From My Heart to Yours. I think that's the name of the... I was involved with
What's it about?
It's about our city and the situation. I haven't even seen it yet. I can't wait because I brought Stuart, who is out in the front desk. He's the one that actually put the documentary together. I took him with me down to Purdue Pharmaceutical in Connecticut, so we got to meet Dominic Esposito with the opiate spoon, and met a lot of parents. And Ray, not Ray, Brian Hampton was there, and Cheryl, Sean's mother.
Oh, okay.
We're all down there with pictures of our children, and then I brought him, he came down to the Boston Vigil last year, Boston Common Vigil, and he interviewed other people, so it's like a 20-minute little documentary, and I guess I'll see it sooner or later.
Sounds good.
Yeah, real soon.
Yeah.
I'm going to have a private screening.
Of course you are.
Why not? I was like, why can I say that?
You deserve it.
No, it didn't matter. It's like I told them to talk to Matt, but I don't think they got a chance to talk to Matt Gannum, but that's okay. But it's things that people need to know.
Yeah.
We need to get rid of stigma.
Yeah.
That whole, stigma being there makes people, there's a lot of parents that feel ashamed of what happened in their life. My goodness, it's 80% of the country is affected by it. Don't worry about those things.
Yeah.
I always say, is it better to bury them than to not to talk about it?
Wow.
I think that it's better to let everybody know what's going on.
Sometimes
Get
you
the
have
help.
to be that brutally honest to get the
You
message
do.
through. Yeah.
A lot of times when I talk to people that are used and say, you matter, and it's okay. We all have our issues. Let's work on it.
Mm-hmm.
No, I wasn't addicted, but I'm a mother that lost a child, and I do care about you. So let's see what we can do for you. That's what a recovery coach does. You don't tell them, you do this. A mother does that. You're going to go and do this, and we're going to take care of that. And then it doesn't go anywhere. But, let's talk about what your recovery and about your recovery and what we can do for it to make it work for you.
What does that look like, and how can we get you there?
That's right.
Meet them
And when you're ready, we're here waiting for you.
Yeah.
Because you can't force them. You'd love to. We have parents that are out there working in the network, trying to help people, and they can't even help their own. And we just lost someone.
What else to do? Yeah.
We just had a friend that, Carmen, every time we turn around, that woman, as soon as she felt that you were needing to speak to someone, she'd send a message on Facebook and said, how you doing today? She was always there, and then the poor thing loses her own child. But it takes a village. You might not be able to do it, and someone else might be able to help them. But it's sad. It really is sad.
It really is. Yep.
And I love the fact that, you're being honest with your children.
Yeah.
And I feel that a lot of parents, like yourself, both of you, for instance, you did it for your kids.
Oh, yeah. I've been thinking about that since Shannon said it. When I made my decision, I looked at it like, I'm going to have to go away. My daughter's not going to see me for a year, 15 months. Or she's not going to have a dad at all. And to me, that
It was worth taking the sacrificing the year and a half. to
And
do
I
it.
mean, again, like you said, we've heard you can't do it for your kids. I think the whole point of that is for you to understand your worth and that you matter, right? And I think that's what people are really trying to say when they say that, because of course you could do it for your kids.
No, I mean, like when they say for a lot of people, the addiction is more powerful than the love of their children. Like when they're in it, which I get.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But then once people have been clean for a little bit,
Oh yeah.
they're devastated with the behavior they had before. And it's always good to remind them, like, would you do the same thing now? And they're like, absolutely not. I'm like, okay, so this speaks to who you really are. Okay? So that old person, that's not you. Okay? So don't accept the shame of that. You're trying to move on from that, and let's work on those things, you know?
Like they say, you have to love yourself in order to love someone else.
You do. You do. I
You're
mean,
no good to anybody else
I
unless
was
you-
around my
yeah.
daughter before I went in, but I was, you know, I was a mess. You know, I was just like, yeah, watch Paw Patrol.
I'm proud of you, though.
I'm so grateful.
Yeah.
I'm so grateful. I can't even explain how grateful I am. I've been truly saved.
You're very focused, and that's a good thing.
I'm determined, you know, and I've lost people along the way. I was engaged to a beautiful woman, and she disappeared, and I didn't know what was going on, and she was using right under my nose years ago, and I didn't realize it. I was already in recovery, but I didn't want to see it, and she passed. You know, it's 3.5 years ago now.
I'm
So
sorry.
I keep a piece of art on my desk. A photographer friend of mine, her name's Ashton, has a photo of a girl that looks very much like her, but wearing a black veil. And it just speaks to me, like, because we were engaged to be married, but it was black, you know. And I keep it behind my monitor. My monitor's here, and the picture's here, so only I can see it. You know, my clients can't see it. But, you know, that speaks to me, like, daily at work, you know. But we do it for the people that are still here, you know.
Yep.
And it takes so long to get over that sort of stuff and to work through it. But,
It's really, really tough because I have 2 children, both boys. One passed 10 years this November, and my other's in
What?
recovery.
Was it November?
November 15th of 2009 is when I lost Frankie. I actually went in after breaking, I talk about this all the time, but I was making breakfast to go in to talk to him about the day before because he had a really bad day.
yeah,
And I went in to find him. He was already gone.
I'm so sorry.
It was very, and it was just the 2 of us. My youngest son was living in North Carolina at the time. So it was really, really hard. And no matter, I called the police right away. And the thing is that I used to work for the police department at that time. So when they came to the house, at least I had friends there that helped me go through a really tough time because the medical examiner didn't come for a couple of hours.
Oh, Lord.
And my friends told me, I don't want you over there. Come on in the living room. Let's talk about the good things. Yeah. You know, because I don't want you to see your son leaving in a black bag. It's actually what he said to me. And now every time around the time that we lost Frankie, he always messages me. He's a retired police officer right now. Yeah, Mario Oliveira. I love you. Thank you for helping me. And, you know, and like I said, he reaches out every year.
That's cool.
And he says he remembers every detail. And I'm sure it does happen to them. Yeah. You know, it's very,
Traumatic.
there's a lot. I mean, how many firemen go out there and knock hand people?
Yeah.
I mean, it's a profession that's being inundated with death. You know, but they're good people. And I love the fire department as well as the police department. They've been good here in Somerville. They've been good to me. Every year they come to my the vigil that we have, and they ring the bell.
They do that in Charlestown. I stole that idea from you, actually.
Yeah. And I stole it. I stole it from Revere. Cares about
Revere, yeah.
the
Revere does
memorial.
it, yep. They were the first ones to start to do the memorial.
And that was a godsend because after I had lost Frankie, I moved to Revere for a year. And I got to meet a lot of people. I met Marianne Frangoulis first time 10 years ago. And all these people that probably could have helped me with him, I met after he had passed.
Wow.
Chris Alba. Gary Landris.
Yep. Kim Hanton.
Yep.
She's my idol.
I love her.
I do too. She really
Judy
is.
Lawler.
I love Judy.
These are all people that became, I'm telling you, I'll never forget that I used to go down to Meridian House, and
That's the
where
program I graduated from.
Yeah.
In 2005.
Yeah.
9 to 12 month program. Took me 15 months.
I hear that it's really hardcore.
It's 15 years ago. It was really, really
Even more.
hardcore. Yeah.
So usually Revere, when we have, after the memorial, there's money left over, and they usually give a portion of it to Meridian House.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
cool.
we usually go there afterwards, and we get to meet the residents. And I was there one time for, actually, Mary Ann got up and talked, about how she
We do
says,
groups there.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
this little
She's a
woman. with
spitfire.
this oh, definitely.
I've never
definitely.
seen someone with so much energy in all my life. I'm like, how does she do that? And she's everywhere. Everywhere.
Absolutely.
Yep.
I've had her on the show a few times.
What is the recovery day? What's this year going to be? The 29th?
I don't know. I really haven't.
It's getting close to the 30th
Yeah.
recovery walk and recovery day over
Now
at.
they've been doing it at the
Faneuil.
Faneuil Hall. It's probably better.
Yeah, it is. They used to do
In
it
the
at the
State
State House.
House.
There was never enough room in that.
Oh, I've been there.
Oh, yeah, we've been there together.
Yeah. It's just that I would love to be able to attend every year, but unfortunately, I'm a manager of 11 people, and I just can't leave.
So we've started during the recovery month calendar all the different events that we hold, like the turnaround barbecue
Yeah.
that's how we kick off recovery month. But we do. So my office is at the Boys and Girls Club, which is across the street from First Church. So we rent space on the 3rd floor, but on that platform right before the recovery march that's in Boston, we do our own breakfast there, and we get T-shirts and we march to the march together. So Meridian House comes out. Medford Overcoming Addiction has come out before. People from First Church have come out. People from my church have come out. My church is here in Somerville, Christian Assembly. It's over at 9 Cumming Street. They've been unbelievable to me because I lost my mother when I was pregnant with my second daughter. I was almost 3 years sober. And I was still in like that early recovery where I wanted to kind of like make it about me.
Yeah.
Oh, my mother's sick,
Wow.
And then like I realized like what was going on, like what I was doing, but they treated me like I was their kid. And so they, do a lot of work to reach out to the Somerville community and
That's
those
me.
who struggle with addiction. Teen Challenge is at our church every Wednesday night.
Sorry.
Yeah. I thought I was going to be the one to do that.
Yeah. I usually shut it off. I'll call them later. But anyway, we're getting close to
Yeah.
almost an hour that we've been sitting here talking.
That's cool.
See?
Isn't that amazing?
It flew by.
So do you want to do another shout out for the event on November?
November, we're talking about, because my daughter's father's date's November too.
Yeah.
It's the 11th.
Wow.
Yep.
God love them. As long as we keep them in our memory all the time. And I
One of the
know.
last things he said to me was, though,
What?
we were texting on the phone, and I was at a doctor's appointment, and he asked me, can I talk to Liv later? And I said, yeah. She's with her math tutor. He said, you're such a good mother. I'm so lucky you're the mother of my children. I was at a doctor's appointment for something that turned out to be nothing. And he said, are you scared? I said, no, about what my appointment was about. He goes, why not? I said, because I have a big God. And he said to me, how do I find him? And I told him, and then I never talked to him again after that. And I really believe that he asked God to come into his heart at that moment, even though he was in active addiction, and that he believed what he was asking of him, and God had to take him at that moment. I was mad at God, and I think that's okay.
Oh, I was mad at God
know,
for a
but
while.
we
after
all
this,
But
do.
and-
yeah, but his ways are higher than our ways, and he knows
Right.
better than I do, and I'll have a lot of questions for him when I get to
Yeah,
him
yeah.
someday.
No, but no, I think that it's normal to have the feelings that you do because you say, why did you take my son?
Yeah.
You know? He was only 32 years old, and he fought to come into this. He was 7 weeks early, you know, being born, you know, 4
It took 3 years for me to have any peace with the loss that I had. I was angry at God the whole time, and I was still serving in ministry, you know, but I was like very upset with God, you know, and I drove all the way out to Ohio, and I called somebody, and they were like, you know, you should spend some time in prayer while you're driving all that way. And I was like, I guess so. And I just prayed and prayed and prayed, and the Lord really spoke to my heart that night, you know, and I feel like, though I might not have all the answers now, I'm going to trust you, because I believe the Lord really told me like that night that she's here, don't worry about it, you know. And the detail, when I felt that after all that prayer, I was like, all right, God. And the rest of the details, you could just let me know later. But, you know, that brought me a lot of peace. It was very helpful, yeah.
I'm so happy to have had both of you here. We still got 3 more minutes. We can talk a little
Shout
bit
it out.
longer.
Can I just say a couple
Yes.
things real quick? So New England Outreach is also starting prison ministry in July. We'll be going every Thursday to Bridgewater.
Nice.
Yeah, so that's pretty cool. If you want any information about that or anything else we're doing, just go to newenglandoutreach.org or find us on Facebook. I'm constantly posting on there and posting different things.
Yeah, I
It's
see
New
a lot
England
of things from
Outreach.
you.
Yeah.
I will post them.
Yeah, it's good stuff, and you know, some of them I find on pages like yours, and we share the information. You know, we got to get it out there. So, the training is on July 8th at First Church at 6:30. Sign up on the New England Outreach on Facebook, just by clicking "Going" on the invite, so we know how many are going to be there for Mary.
But even if they didn't, you'd still let them come?
Amy.
Amy, my bad. That's right. I was thinking of Mary.
I know.
That's really up to.
Even if there's a few scragglers that come in, that's fine. She always
Yeah.
has a couple extra anyway. So.
Yeah, I think
And
she
they-
just wants like a ballpark.
Right, and then they can still learn about how to respond and how to respond to specific situations that they come across or might come across.
So if you show up last minute, if you realize it's 6 o'clock on July 8th, you'd like to go, come through.
Yep.
Yeah, no, that would be great because I could actually use a refill.
Yep.
And I'll give her the ones that I have that you have to put
Oh, I
together.
can't believe you still have those.
Yeah,
I do.
They still
probably
work, though.
outdated.
No, so that's another thing she said. They do have an expiration date, but ignore those because they'll still work.
That's
So,
good to know.
Yep.
And I do have a bunch of them.
Yep.
Yeah. I haven't had to use it yet.
Oh, I have.
Really.
Yeah. I was running across balconies in Charlestown with a big bag and heels on, because I live on a balcony in Charlestown, to get another Narcan kit, running upstairs, running across. I felt like I ran a marathon this last time.
That sounds like superhero stuff. Just saying.
I had so much adrenaline, and the kid that I used it on was like over 250 pounds, and I moved him. And this is like, I moved him. And I was like, how did I do? I was in so much like pain physically
Yeah.
because I literally felt like I ran a marathon. But
Be surprised what we
Yep,
can do
yep.
when
it's true.
Yeah.
we have those situations when it's life and death. Be surprised. I remember one time, and this is funny, because my younger brother had gates fall on him that were in the backyard.
Wow.
And they've been there for years, but they were like,
The old iron.
yeah, the old iron,
Oh Lord.
it gave away. And I went and I was screaming for someone to come and help me. I was 10, he was 3. And I lifted them off of him until someone came.
Oh, praise God.
And then I could hear people saying, how did she do that? Those
Yeah.
are 300 pounds.
Yeah. Because you had to.
That's right, because you had to. So that's why you had to
I had to.
help someone that was dying with 250 pounds. So we'd be surprised what God allows us to do.
Amen.
Yeah.
It's true. Yep.
Yeah. So, like I said, First Church,
Yep.
10 Green Street, 6:30. Come and see Amy Monk.
Yep.
She's going to do the Narcan training. I can't wait to see her. And if you can, like I said, it's under New England Outreach.
Yeah, newenglandoutreach.org is our website, or you can find us on Facebook at New England Outreach.
And
And if you haven't liked Charlestown Coalition or Turn It Around on Facebook and Instagram, go do that right now.
Do it.
oh, I'm already a part of that.
Of course.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We're still on YouTube, so I'm going to have him. Oh, I have to shut it off.
You got here just in time. It was amazing.
That's crazy, right? I was praying actually on the way. I'm like,
He was counting down as you were sitting
I'm
down.
like-
That was really funny.
I'm like, got held hostage, but it was somebody that like I couldn't.
Did
like,
you know
just
Mary
miss.
Cuniff?
Yeah, that sounds familiar. Mary Cuniff.
Yeah, she's from Quincy.